just recently, the majority of the Australian people have voted for gay marriage, for the acceptance of gay marriage. Now, time will only tell what will happen in Australia, but we can take a guess at what's going to happen because we've seen it in the United States, and we've seen it in Canada, and we've seen it in England, and we've seen it in other parts of the Western world. We will probably see in Australia the call for transgenderism, the radical change in bathroom policies in public places, right? The complete abolishment even of genders to begin with, in public schools and in public institutions. We'll also probably begin to see the advocacy for polygamy, polyamorous relationships, just like we've seen in the United States and in many parts of the Western world. We're probably even going to see even more radical stuff like things like trans species, advocation, basically advocating for being a different species, or people actually believing that they're a different species and that the government should respect that and protect that. People actually advocating for being transracial, right? Saying a black guy pretending to be like an Asian woman or something like that. Who's to say? Because the problem with this vote, the problem with making marriage relative, is that you've made everything relative. You've made every single institution relative. And so because now marriage is no longer built or based upon the biological fact that one man and one woman are a good thing, and that it is in that relationship that children are raised best, and those are the best relationship, that is the best relationship because it stabilizes society. Screw all the science, screw all the facts, screw everything we know about the natural world. Forget it. Screw it. Live your life how you want to live it, and it doesn't matter what the effects are because it's your life, right? And it's not going to affect anybody. That's the mentality. That's basically what the public mentality is. And the issue with that is that since marriage is now based upon an emotion about, do you have an erection? Do you feel good? Are you sexually attracted to that thing, to that person, to those persons? Then in that case, then you meet the marriage criteria. Then you can, marry that person. And the problem with that is that because now marriage is not based on, again, love or biological fact, it's now based upon just emotions. And so nothing can really stop a man wanting to marry 3 men, or one woman wanting to marry 4 women, or one man wanting to marry 5 women, or one woman wanting to marry 6 men, or one man wanting to marry some 12-year-old boy, or a 12-year-old boy wanting to marry an 8-year-old girl. I mean, there's nothing to stop anybody because the safeguard, the standard, doesn't exist anymore. And so Australia has joined the club of what I like to call of Sodom and Gomorrah. It has joined the countries which have chosen to openly rebel against God and the natural order. And as fun as that seems to be at the present, or for a period of time, the effects of that rebellion are drastically negative. We're going to see. And here in the United States, we've only just begun to see it, and part of that negative effect is this. This radical call for the destruction of biology, and that's exactly what we're going to see in Australia, right? Because we've seen it in Canada, we've seen it here in the United States. It's definitely going to happen in Australia. It's only a matter of time. And with all that mess, we have to keep in mind, especially us Catholics, we have to keep in mind that Our Lady of Fatima, the Blessed Virgin Mary, warned us about this. The Blessed Virgin Mary has told us multiple times that Satan will attack the family, right? He will attack the family because without the family, there is no future. There's no hope. And that is what the satanic loves. It loves despair. It loves total control. And and the only thing that gets in that way is the family. The family and the church. But if you attack the family, you weaken the church. And without the church, and if you weaken the church to a point where it can't reproduce, right? When it doesn't continue, or it's not strong enough to even, stand on its own 2 feet, which is basically what's happening today. If the church is wobbling, it's almost on its knees. That's what the satanic craves for: total power, right? Knowing that it's conquered something, though in truth it won't conquer it, because our Lord Jesus Christ will return, and he will lay down the law. That is our hope. But in the meantime, we are going to see the satanic try to take full advantage of this chaos, because that's exactly what's occurring: chaos. Because marriage is order, it is stability, and without it, there is no stability, there is no order. Now, going back to the solution, or going forward with the solution, what is it? Well, it's a 3-part solution. It's education, a devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary, political activism. 3. Right, so education, specifically, just educate yourself on the Catholic faith, educate yourself on basic biology, basic philosophy, classical philosophy, the best, right? Just educate yourself and educate other people, right? When you, for example, read St. Thomas Aquinas, when you read what the great doctors of the church say, and when you read what the church has always taught, a lot of, it just makes sense. It's just common sense. Well, all the saints write, like St. Thomas Aquinas. So I highly recommend starting with that, and then showing people that, and spreading the truth. And then from there also, pray the rosary. This gospel on a string is what will save the world. The intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary, through the Immaculate Heart of Mary, souls will be converted. And if you can and if the souls are converted, then there is hope, right? And that means those souls are not under the control of the demonic, of the satanic. And that's, again, what the satanic wants: total control. So we fight the satanic with the rosary, and not only that, but we also fight for our country with the rosary, for the conversion of our politicians, for our country to reflect God's law, right? Through the rosary, those things are possible. Look at what happened in Poland. Poland used to be a cesspool of communism. Now it is the heart of Christendom. It is great. It is a fantastic example of a Catholic country, simply because they did 3 things, and they did these 3 things very well. They educated themselves, they prayed the rosary, and they became politically active. And the third one is political activism, and this is a short explanation. For a long time, Catholics have abandoned political activity, hands off, because the mentality of Catholics in the West is that the bishops and the priests will take care of them, right? They just have to listen to what the priest says, what the bishop says, and that's about it. Just vote how they are told to vote. The problem is that many, and as we've seen clearly in Australia, that isn't the case. Many bishops are incompetent in this case, in the sense that they don't care about souls. They don't care about the Catholic faith. They care about political power. They care about being well liked, right? They don't care about hell. They don't care about God. They don't care about sin or even their responsibilities. They don't care. They care about, what can I get here and now? And we've seen that very clearly in Australia and throughout the world, right? And so in that case, we as Catholics need to conform our political philosophies with the Catholic faith. And it's a very beautiful thing, because when Catholicism is the best of everything, total best of everything. It is the best of the right. It is the best of the left. There's charity, but there's also social responsibility. There's a small government. It's a lot of good stuff. Again, but it comes with education, right? And I would also like to add with this, because a lot of Catholics at this moment in Australia, because I've been receiving a lot of comments and communication from people who live there, feel like they they lost. They did lose, but in the sense that they're in despair. This is my message to those people, to you Aussies: don't despair. Do not despair, for our Lord, your God, is with you. He has won the day. Satan will do whatever he can to damn as many souls as possible, but at the end of the day, Satan himself knows that his time is limited, and that Jesus Christ will win. All we have to do is remain faithful to our Lord Jesus Christ and his Catholic Church. Now, with that, what can we do? What can you do for your country? Well, here in the United States, what we have begun to do in 2014, when they legalized gay marriage, is the pro-marriage movement, right? It's like the pro-life movement here in the United States. In the 70s, the pro-life movement began, and people thought that it wouldn't be successful. I mean, the people thought that because the Constitution said or protected abortion, that there was no way that the pro-life movement can change laws or public opinion. And guess what? In 2017, the pro-life movement has been overwhelmingly successful, where it has changed public opinion and it has changed legislation. Right? We can do this. We can make society great again. We can make it Christian again. We can make it reflect God's law, but it can only be done with effort. Now, with all that, there is a silver lining in this gay marriage vote. Now, I know this is bad. This is sodomy. This is a problem, right? This isn't a good thing. I know that. But the silver lining is this. In the West, in the United States, in Canada, for just two examples, when the gay marriage advocates won and they got what they wanted, they started then pushing gender theory. Right, then they really started to really want to like tear down basic biology. They really started to target anybody who disagreed with them with the full force of the law, or try to at least advocate for that. And people started to wake up. People who voted for gay marriage, people who thought it was a good thing, then started to realize that this is not what I supported. This is not what I want. This isn't good. This hasn't made anything better, right? And so in that case, people have begun to slowly realize like what they voted for, what they thought was good, is not at all good. It's problem. It's chaotic, and so they're seeking for stability. The only thing that can provide stability, historically speaking, is the Catholic Church. That is the only thing that can provide true stability. It is what we have here is a perfect opportunity to bring people into the Catholic faith, to educate people, to make society reflect God's law, because people are naturally drawn to the truth. And when they begin to see that what they voted for is a cancer, it is not at all a good thing, there is no plus, there's no benefits to it, then people will want to seek alternatives. The best alternative, the only real alternative, the only lasting solution to what they seek for, which is truth, stability, order, is the Catholic faith. And that's where that's where you come in. That's where you Aussies come in. That's where you Englishmen come in. That's where you Canadians, you Americans, Catholics, small, wherever you are, whatever country you belong to, or whatever your nationality is, that is where you come in, right? That is your duty, to evangelize, to bring forth the truth, to bring forth the logos, right? The stability, the order into this world, right? Which is reflected in the divine, and bring it and make it manifest it in the natural world, with first in our personal lives, but then also, if you can, once you are able to do it in your personal life, then slowly it begins to seep into everything else, right? Like I've said, and I will always say, as our Lord Jesus Christ himself says, he has won the day. The gates of hell shall not prevail. And we have to have faith in that. Trust in God, pray, follow him. That is the recipe for success, right? The world is not your home. Recognize that. Clearly it is not, now more than ever. And I hope you realize that. It is not your home. Your home is waiting for you. This place is all transitory. Yeah, this is not meant to be heaven on earth. I mean, it's impossible for this place to be heaven on earth. Your goal here on this planet is to live the Catholic faith, follow the Catholic faith, and spread the Catholic faith. That's it. That's all you gotta do. That's the plan. And with this vote, or with anything else that happens in the near future, remember, do not forget, our Lord wins. He is in total control, and the Blessed Virgin Mary is there for us. Pray for me as I pray for you.